This is The Perfect Poise, a JESSIE HUNT psychological suspense. Book number 34, written by Blake Pierce, narrated by Debbie Soelter. Prologue. Chloe Baptiste was exhausted and annoyed. As she walked out of the back of the Hancock Park Art Gallery and headed toward her car, she shook her head in agitation, making her razor-sharp brown-haired bob bounce. Ordinary, everyday people assumed that her life was a dream, free from the concerns that regular folks faced. But that just wasn't true. Just because her husband ran a media conglomerate and their personal wealth last year was estimated by Forbes magazine to be around $110 million, which was low, to be honest, that didn't mean everything was ice cream and gumdrops for her. For example, tonight she ended up spending over $1.2 million on the 2 paintings she'd wanted, when she had come into the evening not planning to go over $1 million total. But when that arrogant plastic surgeon tried to outbid her on the second piece, she had no choice but to up her offer. Now she'd have to explain to her husband, Laurent, why she'd let some self-satisfied boob stuffer get the better of her. It wasn't a conversation that she was looking forward to. Laurent might have 2 private jets and 5 homes, including a castle in the French countryside, but he still appreciated a good deal. And Chloe hadn't gotten any tonight. The only thing that mitigated her guilt as she made her way through the near-empty lot to her Tesla Model X Plaid was the knowledge that she could make up the extra $200,000 she'd spent tonight by the end of this week. Of course, that money would come via her side business, the one that Laurent didn't know about and definitely wouldn't approve of. Chloe was careful to keep her little side gig on the down low, partly because she didn't want to deal with Laurent's disapproval, but also because, strictly speaking, it wasn't legal. Despite the risk to the Baptiste name if her additional work ever came out, she had no intention of quitting. That was because her life, despite the jet-setting, the gala receptions, and the stable of servants, was sometimes lacking in excitement. So, if she had to skirt the law a little to get a jolt of energy every now and then, it was worth the risk. Plus, when it came to this job, she was the boss. Chloe approached the car and pulled the key fob out of her bag. She'd considered letting their driver, Mario, take her here tonight, but worried that if other bidders saw her pull up in front of the gallery in a limo, she'd look like a whale who was ripe to be fleeced. Of course, arriving in a $90,000 vehicle wasn't exactly subtle, but at least she'd parked in the back. Chloe pushed the remote and heard the familiar click of the doors on.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?